People, deluded, I'm back again. I'm over the worst of my illness, people, and while I still feel a bit dehydrated, a bit lightheaded and whatnot, still ain't got an appetite, I'm ready to go and videos have to get made. And I mean, first and foremost, thank you for your nice little messages and things like that. I've had the mesothelioma virus, for instance. I can't remember the name, but I actually have a tear in my chest somewhere. It's not as bad as it sounds. I haven't been going through food poisoning, but we're back, man. Ozil's probably played up more away games than me this year. But moving on, in relation to Arsenal, I'm back and videos after game make. As you lot know, I keep saying international break. It's the break. I say that. Some clubs are still playing, some people on breaks. We head to Dubai on Thursday. The players on the rest. So there's not much to speak about. First and foremost, Martinelli has said he wished to go to the under 23 pre-Olympic tournament, but Arsenal basically said no. Now his tone is not necessarily disappointment. Obviously he's a young man, he's 18, it's national pride. Obviously as a footballer you probably want to win Champions League, Premier League, World Cup and these things first, but the chance to be a recognised Olympian or for any athlete to play at the Olympics is amazing. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but is the next Olympics in Tokyo, I'm sure, or is it in Rio? Or has it gone from Rio already? Apologies, people, I don't know. But either way, Arsenal have blocked it, and naturally so. Obviously, if his rise wasn't as big as we thought, if it was, you know, he's going to be part of the first team, he might play some 23 games, what was expected, occasional cup games, then he might have been granted his wish to go, but he's made himself a vital member of this team. You're looking away from Aubameyang, and you're looking at this 18-year-old guy from the second division or so in Brazil, who's hit 10 goals in all comps at 18, and away from his goals, he's got an infectious work rate, a desire to learn, a humbleness to, you know, do the defensive work of the game, real humbleness, and he's a testament to his family, and he's been a revelation. We need to be careful not to overhype him, and remember he's only 18, like he showed playing on the right wing last game, but he's vital to our plans, and he's someone that he scores goals. We don't score too many goals, we're not shooting enough, we're not scoring enough goals, and he's someone, if anything, that's going to bring it to us. And I feel he, you know, obviously you've got Saka who's doing his thing at left back, who, do you know what, through Martinelli's rise, I won't say people have forgotten about Saka, but need to remember he was doing his thing on the left wing for a sec, people, before Martinelli, because, you know, Martinelli was getting chances over under Emre, but I'd say, forgive me if I'm wrong, he done his thing in the cup, but weren't it Ljungberg who started him against West Ham away, and it might have been before then, it might have been after them, but, you know, the rise has been great. And I think he's, obviously, when you see Pepe bought for 70 million, Pepe is evidently not showing something to Arteta to deem Martinelli a better option. That shows how vital he is to the team. And yeah, man, Martinelli might as well, you know what, he's shown that he's on stuff, he's shown he's a good player. We need him for this season, and for him, he's going to get experience. The Brazil, obviously, the Euros, I mean, the Olympics don't come around too tough, but there'll be other opportunities. You have a Ronaldinho kind of in your corner about being catched by Brazil. You're hearing, I think Jorginho made some comments in relation to his eligibility for Italy. So we'll see what it is, people. As you don't know, he's the first teenager to obviously score 10 goals in all comps since Nicolas Anelka. He's been capped twice by Brazil's under-23s. Is what it is, and he apparently said he was called up to play in a pre-Olympic tournament between the 18th of January and the 9th of February, so it'd still be going. So he'd obviously not only have missed a couple of games, but he'd missed the Dubai tournament and whatnot, I mean the training camp, and it wouldn't make much sense. His own words were, I said that if it was up to me I would play, but we knew it would be difficult because it was a time when I started at Arsenal and people preferred not to let me go. The general director of Brazil already called me, spoke to me and congratulated me on what I'm doing. I haven't been called up yet, but I'm very calm about it. We talked a little after he went to the national team. He called me and said this was the opportunity of my life and that I should give my best because things would go well. He was speaking obviously about Arsenal now. He said he's not decided on an international cap, as we've spoken about before on my channel, in relation to his eligibility for Italy from his father's side and obviously his dad's side, and he's got a thing to make. Obviously, as someone who's a you know, British-born descendant of Caribbean folk, it's a difficult one because I was born in England and whatnot, and if England asks me to play, then I understand it. But culturally, I feel very much Bayesian and Jamaican, especially Jamaican. It's like, it is what it is, through my grandparents, through my parents, and things like that. So if it's the same logic where his household is very much Brazilian, but it's also very connected to the Italian roots, and I don't know if his grandmother is from Italy, I don't know if they speak it in the family house, I don't know if it's to the scale where it's traditional Italian food, mannerisms, if you've even been to Italy, I don't know the scale of how much he identifies of being Italian, but it's a difficult decision for him to make, really and truly. And yeah, man, all he needs to do is focus on the club right now, on playing for the club and being the first name on the team sheet, and just improve, not getting too hard on himself, remembering he's still 18, remembering he should enjoy this opportunity, but just keep working hard, and everything will fall into place, really and truly. Whether that's new contract, being one of the highest paid players eventually, Brazil honours, you know, I'm sure he said Cristiano Ronaldo is his idol. I know he probably enjoys Arsenal, and he's spoken about wanting to repay us, but if we're realistic, his potential could take him to the big boys in Spain, or, you know, his ability could outgrow Arsenal very quickly, and his ambition could outgrow Arsenal very quickly, because in the next two to 4 years, he could be a great player, depending on where this club is going to be. Can I say we'll be top 4 challengers and things in 4 years? I'd like to think so, but am I seeing anything to suggest that we're going to do that from the top, the very top with the owners? I don't know. So yeah, man. I believe him and Torreira, 2 players, will face a fight to hold on to, not before long. Matt Le Tissier has spoken on Cedric. Now, these sort of things were said about Aubameyang when he came to Arsenal. It's a completely different, but Matt Le Tissier said, when his head is in the right place, he's a good player. He's had spells where the attitude probably hasn't been quite as good as it should have been. Certainly when he's on it, he's a decent right back. Now again, a bit of that might be legit from Le Tissier, a bit of that might be some weird bitterness, a bit of that might just be his genuine opinion, and maybe his head did drop, whether that's wanting to leave, whether that's disillusioned, whether that's in the poor form, because was he not part of the Southampton team, forgive me if I'm wrong, part of the collective squad that lost 9-0. He went to Inter Milan at a time and it didn't work out, so he's always had one ear out the door. You are hearing that allegedly Southampton couldn't believe their luck, that somebody bought him. They were resigned to letting him go on a free transfer. Apparently he had a medical at Arsenal with a knee brace. So you can see how this, you know, it would only be Arsenal to sign an injured player and whatnot. But I don't really care about this sort of stuff from Le Tissier. He was a great player and I have a lot of respect for him, but it's a bit irrelevant. All I care about is what he does at Arsenal. I think if he does have attitude problems and he does decide to act up, then Arteta will nip that in the bud very quickly, and his short spell at Arsenal on paper right now might be cut even shorter, people, if, you know, people don't fix up and improve and the rest of it. I don't think I've got anything else to add, people. Well, I've said this in another video, but apparently Arsenal and Everton submitted offers for Lille centre-back Gabriel during the January transfer window. Lille wanted more money, but it's likely these 2 clubs will return for him in the summer. That's being reported by Le 10 Sport. Now, for me, if you genuinely want him, and considering our decent relationship with Lille, go out and give them whatever money they want and go out and get them. I rate Newcastle because Newcastle had a decent window. I look at Spurs and I look at Newcastle. I think they both did decent business this January transfer window. One move that didn't bang for them but displays ambition is Soares of Lille. They had a bid accepted, I believe, for 45 million euros or something we saw. They tried to get Saint-Maximin to FaceTime him. They put on all the charms and went on the offensive. It didn't work. Allegedly, he doesn't want to leave in January and he's waiting for a bigger offer from a bigger club. Liverpool have been linked. If Liverpool are interested, there's no contest. You've seen Madrid, you've actually seen PSG, you've seen Man United, City, Arsenal. To hear City, Liverpool, Spanish interest, that's going to sway me. But considering a 45 million bid was accepted, that shows ambition. For me, go out there and get that, because we need a midfielder. I've spoke about this in another vid, so I'm not going to go over the same topic. But for me, you're going to have to help Arteta. You know he's down to the bare bones in his team. There's a lack of creativity. There's a lack of physical quality in the midfield. Players are playing well, don't get me wrong. There's a lack of goal scorers in midfield. Soares is not a goal scorer, but he is a physical presence and he can pass the ball forward and he does have a dynamic approach. Go out and put the 45 million euros on the table for him. The same with Gabriel. We've worked with Leo for Pepe, so they know how we work and how much money we potentially have, so we can structure payments. Arteta or whoever, if Arteta's a success or failure was to leave tomorrow, whatever manager needs to be backed from these board members, because they need to be looking at it. Are they genuinely looking at it and saying, okay, boy, there isn't much we can do now until May because we can't sign players. Creativity is a problem. Boom, boom, boom. Who are we going to sign to bring creativity? If Torreira's not there, midfield is dead. Who can we bring in to not only give us greater midfield options, but to be in place of Torreira or something? Do you get it? What deep line playmakers can we get? What goal scoring midfielders can we get? Arteta can coach some of this potentially, but do you see what I'm saying? Centre half, some proper options. I've said this in the last vid, but there's serious big decisions that have to be made. Arteta can have his sporting input with Aubameyang, Aubameyang, Ozil and Lacazette, for example, but big calls over all three of those. Big calls over all them defenders, all the centre-halves people. Big calls around the side, and the board are going to have to make decisions, especially when you look at some people's contracts, and it's only going to happen if we're legitly applying foresight, if we're going and, we've got a list of players and we're not being reactive. Because I said this in the last vid, if every centre-half was fit, ifs and buts, we would have still needed a centre-half. But would we have moved for a centre-half? Would Marie be at this club if we didn't have these serious injuries and all of these sort of things? I can't answer that, really. But that's all I wanted to say. I don't think there's anything else to add. Let me just type in Arsenal on Google quickly and see if there's something of relevance, which there probably isn't realistically, people. Now we've spoken about that. Arshavin and Wenger have got a picture together, people, and apparently Arshavin named his child after Wenger, so that's pretty funny. But it is what it is. Apparently we're scouting West Ham flop Siad Haksabanvich. Can't say it, but apparently Arsenal and United are scouting him. He's 20 years old. He failed to make the breakthrough at West Ham's first team. He made only 2 senior appearances. Since then, he turned out in January 2018 for West Ham, but then he went on loan to a Swedish club, Norrköping. His loan deal expires in June, and apparently United, Arsenal and Rangers have all been keeping tabs. He only signed for 2.7 million, so it might not be the most thingy of it. It would be a decent little fee. Again, it could just be legitly scouting and just improving our logic. There could be interest in it, but who knows, people. I'm not going to read too much into it. Don't know nothing about the player. Apparently, John Stones was left out of the matchday squad despite not being injured against Spurs. Why that has relevance is obviously we was linked to John Stones. You've heard Pep make comments before of Stones needs to improve, and it's down to him. Arteta categorically denied that we was going to be in for him. Look at the win. The win wants Stones. He categorically denied we was in for him in January. But if the situation doesn't change, there's Champions League clubs that could offer football. Like for instance, if Leicester stay in the Champions League, I'd rather go to Leicester than Arsenal, beyond the love for Arsenal and the prestige and all of these sort of things. So he'll have a lot of interest, really. But if he is made available, he's potentially someone we should go for. I know Stones has a lot of question marks, but Arteta knows him. He's got resale value, and he's very much a ball-playing centre-half. And he can also play midfield if required, which could be something for us, people. We won't get Stones, so it's a non-story. But I've got nothing more to add. I'm going to get out of here. I need to get on the Victoria line and go to work. So on that note, have a great day, people. Whenever you're seeing this, check out all my other content. Deluded podcast dropped as well. Make sure you check out the latest episode. Yeah, man. People, DG, I'm out. God bless.